move on to our third speaker, and it's actually a member of our executive team, Mr. DJ Schwam, who is the master of networking and a conference guru, recently wrote a book. This is great. He's going to talk a little bit about his book, and I'm going to invite Angela Yee up here, who's also part of our executive team, and she will be doing some Q&A with you. So can we welcome Angela and DJ, please?
So DJ, we're really excited about your book. Do you want to just tell us a little bit what it's about?
Well, MultiAsian.Church is the website and the title of the book. It's on the back of your flyer. It's about Asian Americans leading in a multi-ethnic world. And one of the things that I've observed over the past 10 years or so is this new kind of church that I'm calling next generation multi-Asian churches, which are Asian Americans like yourself that have a bicultural background and able to navigate multiple cultures. And it's reaching Asians and non-Asians alike. And I think God's doing a new thing, and I want to know about it.
So can you tell us a little bit, what is this book all about? What led you to write this book?
I just have a heart for Asian Americans, and so since I graduated from seminary back in 1995, I had this habit in my spare time and on my own dime. I'll go to a lot of conferences, and I'll go meet up with young Asian American pastors to just get to know them and find ways to connect them to each other and to resources. And been doing that for almost 20 years now. So I was pastoring out of seminary. I pastored in a traditional Chinese church, and then in a multi-ethnic church with Pastor Ray Chang here, who wrote the foreword for my book. I realized after 5 years of pastoring that I could pastor okay, but who needs an okay pastor? And so I realized that God gives us permission to dream and to have vision, and to use everything we have, not just our skills and talents, but also our hearts and our desires and our impulses, good impulses, and to make a difference in the world. And so I found my place coming alongside pastors and connecting them to resources. And along the way, I see this new thing happening, and I want to write this book to encourage the next gen young leaders, and also to soften the hearts of those who are older pastors, both Asian pastors and non-Asian pastors, to realize how much potential we have here in the 30-something Asian American pastors, and to give them a better story. We all have our scars and struggles dealing with our two cultures, but I've written this as a hopeful book that I'm hopeful that it will create a new future for us.
That's great. So multi-Asian is actually a new term that DJ coined. So I was wondering if you can explain a little bit. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's kind of a nuanced definition, because I found the terms Asian American or Pan-Asian or third culture to be insufficient to describe how we're more than just Asian American. We actually have something to offer to the multi-ethnic world. And so multi-Asian is a portmanteau, for those of you that like puns and wordplay. It's a portmanteau, it's a mashup of two words, Asian American and multi-ethnic. Multi-Asian.
So what would a multi-Asian church look like? What would a multi-Asian church look like? What are some
It looks like different things. I found about 300 of them, and the whole list is there at MultiAsian.Church. It's churches like what Wilson Wang has planted. It's featured in the book. Ray Chang has planted 2 of them in his lifetime, and a handful of other ones that he's been coaching and networking and training up other boot camp leaders. I would even say Saddleback Church, Irvine South, is a multi-Asian church. You have a good mix of Asian and non-Asian pastors on staff, as well as in the congregation. And so it just has that Asian flavor in a broader context that welcomes people from all kinds of backgrounds. And I think the treasure that we have by accident, but also sovereignly, is we inherently have the life experience of navigating multiple cultures. Most people don't have that. As much as in the next room they have a multi-ethnic pre-conference, as much as Anglos and African Americans, Latinos desire to build bridges cross-culturally, we have it in our DNA. And if we bring that as an offering to the wider church, I think it can bring some healing, as well as not just for others, but also for ourselves.
That's very encouraging. So what are some trends or things that you see in multi-Asian churches that, that might give us a glimpse of the future?
What are some trends? Well, the book is the trend. So I describe about a dozen different multi-Asian churches that are doing unique things, and I describe the characteristics and interviewed the pastors to say, hey, tell us your story. Why did you plant this church? What's your vision for the church, and how is it? What's your compelling story? So each of us have a story individually. Each church has a story to tell for the community. And so the trend is, it's so new that we're creating a new future as we talk. And that's why I wrote the book as an ebook, so that I could publish quickly. I don't know if you, and I found out there's just so many details in publishing a book, even an ebook. So today, the book has just launched an hour ago, MultiAsian.Church, and I'll give you a discount code after we finish. But the trend is that our next generation are creating these new kinds of churches, and we have much to encourage them and much to learn from them. And part of why we're gathering as 30 Network is so that we can learn from each other. Because when you go into uncharted territory, it's scary, and part of our Asian culture is risk averse, and there's wisdom in that, but there's also fear in that. But we can move in faith with those new visions and serve a wider church. So I think the trend is we're creating a new future by the grace of God, and it's very exciting for me. It's very hopeful, and I'm hoping it will bring a lot of hope and healing and grace that we all need, and ultimately to erase shame is what I call it. And I want to just mention my editor is here, Diana's son, so she helped me clean up the language in the book. And then my wife is outside. She's nursing a cold, so that's why she's not jumping in. My wife's wearing orange. One of the things you'll find out about me is I love orange, so that's why the book is orange also.
I noticed you have an orange cell phone cover. That's pretty
Yes.
awesome. There's an orange car.
I have 2 orange cars. Those are a few things that are trending, and I really wrote the book for the next generation and really want to encourage you and to soften some of the older leaders to say, hey, you're our future. Let's really invest in you and encourage you. I just turned 50 this July, so I'm one of those 50-somethings that jumped into here.
So one of the things I appreciate about your book is that it's got a lot of data, which appeals to the intellectual side, but it's also very practical. There's some call to action items in there. Can you give some examples of what are some of the call to actions that would pertain to us as leaders here?
Yeah, chapter 11 is my playbook for the future of the rest of my life. I've come to realize my own mortality coming to 50, but it's in chapter 11. Basically, it's that we have a voice that we can use. So one of the things that you'll find online, a lot of us do our research and connect with people online. Asian Americans have the highest percentage of using the internet, but our voice is kind of muted. We're not using our voice and developing a platform, not so much for ourselves, but just to share what we're learning in our life with God. So using our voice is number 1. Number 2, gathering as leaders. There's no national gathering of key leaders to look at a broader agenda beside our own little tribe. So to have that kind of gathering can really propel us to a whole nother level as an Asian American. And thirdly, Asian American philanthropy. Asian Americans are the most wealthy in terms of education and finances, highest family median income. That's not to say that some Asian Americans are struggling financially. There's also about 12% that are below the poverty line. Some of those statistics are in the early chapters of the book. But it is to say we have a lot to offer to the world, and if we would be inspired by God to do that, we can really make a huge dent in the universe. So I hope to open up the hands of people that have the wealth, not just invest it, but And we're good at investing and making it as a whole. We can do so much more strategically giving that away for the kingdom of God.
Wow, thanks. Can you tell us how we can get the book, find out more about it?
Yes, well, the book is online, ready for download, MultiAsian.Church. There's free Wi-Fi online. And just for you, the discount code is 30. Spell out the word 30, and you'll get 30% off. 30%. So I play with the numbers a little bit. We named 30 network. We'll close with what 30 network's about, but that's for you. And then MultiAsian.Church, that's the website. And then a little Easter egg at the bottom of the buy the book page. You can pay for what you want. So if you're strapped with cash or you want to be generous, just name your price, buy the book, share the word. It's for the next generation. The print edition will be laid out hopefully by Christmas, and so that'll be coming later. But digital first, want you to have it immediately, and we'd love to have some conversations with you about it.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions for DJ though? All right, well, I hope you get a chance to look at this book. I did read it. It's really good. A lot of really insightful
Angela endorsed
stuff.
it here. Kevin Lynn endorsed it.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you think about multi-Asian churches, what are some of the unique facets those churches have versus other churches that are multicultural?
Oh, great question. That last part was a curveball. So. Hey, Wilson, you're on it. One of the things, one of the reasons I wanted to call out multi-Asian was that because a Asian American-led multi-ethnic church is different than a multicultural church. I think because of our bicultural background, we have this instinct to say things without saying it. And so we're whether we recognize it or not, have it developed it or not, we can be pretty masterfully indirect in how we communicate, but it still gets in and gets the heart. And I think we don't have to talk about racial reconciliation as a confrontational, you hurt me, you better apologize. But we have ways of fellowshipping and building relationships and getting to know people's stories that's a lot more holistic and do a lot more healing. And in the book, I also mentioned your story of some unique characteristics of the multi-Asian church as well. So I think we have so much to offer, and this book is just to open that window to say, hey, I want to open this up using what little resource I have. I mean, I had no budget, so this is all a step of faith. God's provided for me in other ways. And actually, I'm donating 100% of the proceeds of the book to 30 Network. I really believe in what God is doing here. I mean, we just launched this thing. God's doing something in this next generation, and I'm just really grateful to be a part of it. The story of 30 Networks in the book too. So it's all there. Yes, Ray Chang.
Yes, tomorrow morning when you do your seminar, you're going to be sharing a lot of the content here.
I can do that, sure. I'll do a public reading of my book. I hear that's the new thing.
You can sign our iPhones and our iPads.
So we want to make room for conversation. That's what we're gathering for. Thank you, Angela, for being part of the 14.